It was important to me that the wall did talk to the public. We're looking for people on the street to turn their head and say, what is that? Hoping that they will think about the underlying stories and the possibility for narrative in the piece. The content of the mural is meant to relate quite directly to the beaver drop, which happened up in the Idaho mountains near here. The beavers were trapped in the valleys. They were put into wooden crates attached to parachutes, and they were dropped out of the plane. The crates were tied with ropes that would come undone when they hit the ground so that the beavers could get out quickly and not get hurt. The beavers were able to go off and build these ponds, and generations later we have the same ponds that they built, helping to protect against fire, to preserve native plants. Such a wild story of ingenuity and absurdity, and I thought that would be something that all ages would connect with. And yet it was important to me that this not be a factual mural. So we have a plain filled with wood that beavers might have collected. We have a plain that is of that era and possibly even quite similar to the ones that the Idaho Fish and Wildlife use. It's a beautiful day in Sun Valley. We're really pumped to get going. It's an extraordinary experience seeing the possibility this wall might offer. What kinds of imagery might allow the general public to walk by and really engage. On the team, we have Nick. Nick is my studio manager and really experienced with murals, has worked on many with me. We also have Elise, who is an employee at the museum, but also a painter. Both of them have extensive experience with oil painting. I could not do this alone, and I think art is usually collaborative. People are trying to help each other solve problems. It's such a joy to work with a team. That's 3 people to look at the mural and talk about what's working and what isn't. Making this mural involves many different steps. The first one was laying in the sky. So we used an exterior latex to create this blended sky and the clouds, really coat the whole wall. I think we need a little bit more in through here, and then do you want to use, what do you think in here? Do you want to use the dark green, or is that too much? The projector has worked well for us tonight. It is really allowing us to get some nice, simple stenciling. The primary things we need are those dominant outlines. If we miss stuff in the projection, it's not the end of the world. I mean, the more information we lay down, the better. Kind of a wild night of working really late and trying to imagine what this thing will look like when it's in full color. But that stenciling of the image through the projector is a key chance for us to have one final moment where we can make big changes and decisions. I was wanting to find a way to include the Big Wood River, which flows right through the valley. But when the beavers became the larger storyline, I felt like something underwater would be appropriate. This image is meant to be the beaver's eye view. Tonight was a successful night. Now we have all of the information down on the wall, and we can really get into the heart of painting tomorrow. And it looks pretty good. I think we got almost everything. And tomorrow we'll start blocking in all of the major colors, and people who come by will really start to see this plane appear on the wall. We're here on Community Day. We're about halfway through the making of this massive mural. For me, the most important part has been working with the kids, talking to them about how to actually apply the paint, answering their questions about the digital collage we have that shows what the mural will be. And so the essence of the day is really having us stop and remember, as the makers of the mural, that this is for this town, for this valley, not for us. This mural is a bit of a gift, and hopefully people will enjoy it for a long time. We had kids up on ladders, painting, and it was such a good chance for me to talk about what the mural is and to get their responses of what they were seeing.
We were just talking to the artist about the fact that there aren't actually any beavers depicted in the mural, and I kind of love that. It's sort of gives you all the different parts of history and the suggestion of the beavers, but not the beavers themselves, which I think is really cool.
We have this hint of brown in the window that is maybe the beaver, or maybe not. I want people to make that decision about the end of the story. We love those public conversations. Those are really the richest part of the whole process. The most important thing, putting myself in positions where I have to defend and explain the work. We're making things for people. We're making things for conversation, for society. And if we're not, then we shouldn't be making them, in my opinion. I grew up at the end of a long dirt road on a sheep farm. I was a pretty lonely kid back in the woods, and the way I found my way through life was by inventing stories. I learned later that that was really valuable to my creative practice because I feel very comfortable in the space of invention. The plane has all kinds of bits and bobs within it. It's meant to be a kind of treasure trove of local history. And one of the things that I wanted to do was find a way to talk about the joy I sensed from so many people that I spoke to in the region. When they talk about being outside, there's just such enthusiasm for what the outdoors offers. Flowers in particular are one of those things that people brought up a lot, and I wanted to find a way to celebrate that sheer beauty of what it means to be here in the mountains. And they also provide this cool chance to kind of describe the kinetic activity of the plane because they're swooping and blowing off, and so they're also a narrative device in their own way. The bits and pieces of information scattered throughout the mural reference to things in the local landscape. Those features link the image with the many, many different ways in which history has occupied this valley. We wanted to find a way to honor Basque sheep herders and Basque culture, so the tail features an arbor-glyph, which is a carving into aspen that sheep herders would do generations ago to mark their territory and remember loved ones and say who they were as they were alone in the wilderness. The tail of the plane also features this set of keys that are from a resident from the late 1800s in the Sun Valley region. It's meant to be a kind of symbol of the beavers trying to open their crates. I wanted to find a way to talk about the mining history in this valley. After visiting Galena Summit, I realized that galena is a mineral. It's an amazing cubic form that we incorporated in the engine of the plane. Image making can have real power when things we've seen before get twisted into something new. I've found real excitement in taking found imagery, taking historical imagery, and finding my own way to repurpose it. This is my first mural outdoors. I'm just really grateful to the museum for giving me the chance to take on this new challenge. I had so many different goals for this project, but the key ones are things like extending the museum space. This is a wonderful, small museum in a community that really cares for it. The 1971 on the wing celebrates the birth of this incredible museum. It's a way to honor their 54th anniversary and really to speak to the potential and possibility of what this museum will be in the future. People in these communities that surround the museum care for the arts and have found ways to make sure that artists are integrated into the community, celebrated, exhibited. I feel deeply honored to be a part of that history now.